Thank you for showing an interest in the brand new Honda HR-V eHEV. In here we have a two-motor hybrid system with ECVT. And in this video we're going to be showing you some of the features that you can expect to see and enjoy on your test drive. But we're going to highlight those for you, as I say, in this short video. So of course the first thing we need to do is get inside the car. Now I have the key in my pocket and I could just press the unlock button on the key fob, but I want to use the keyless access system, so I'm simply going to just pop my hand behind the door handle and it's going to unlock the car for me. So join me inside. Okay, now we're inside the vehicle. We get welcomed by the Honda badge on the meters in front of us and the little welcome chime there as well. But of course, before we drive off, we need to make sure we have our seat belts and mirrors all set up for us. So seat height adjustment and the recline levers are just by my right hand, so I think that feels about correct. And that feels good to me. My head restraint is a little low, so I bring that up, that feels good. And now the steering wheel, so I'll just bring that a little closer to me, and that feels good as well. So now the seatbelt height adjustment on the B-pillar, actually that's in a good position, but if I needed to adjust that, you just pull out a little section and raise it higher or lower. Now we mentioned just before we got in that we have the keyless operation for this particular vehicle, in fact all three grades. So all I need to do to actually power the car on is put my foot on the foot brake and press the power button. Now depending on the temperature outside, you may hear the engine fire up because it's a nice warm day and we've got plenty of power in the battery, because of course this is a self-charging hybrid. We're ready to drive off in EV mode, and we can see that just in the bottom left hand corner of the screen. Now the shift lever to get us going is very traditional if you've ever driven an automatic styled car before. So we have park, which is of course where the vehicle will have been left, through reverse, neutral and D for drive, which is where we're going to start off. We're going to come back to the B mode a little later on. Now parking brake, of course we need to take our parking brake off to set off, and there are a couple of ways we can do that. Because my seat belt's on, I can just put my foot on the accelerator and it will release for me. But we have a great little feature on there called brake hold, and I'm going to press that to turn that on, and now this will stay on. Remember my setting as well, so that it will release the brake for me, but also when I come to a stop it will hold the pressure on the brakes for me, so I don't need to apply my parking brake in traffic jams. So next thing is get our mirrors good. So our frameless mirror up here for increased visibility, that's good there, and my side mirrors, let's get those all nicely angled, and just over on the passenger side as well. So I think we're good to go. So we're in D, let's head off. Now, we're on a little private road here, so we've got some really good access to some nice country style roads, and we can experience the different kind of drives that this hybrid system can give to us. So remember, we've got EV mode where we can actually be in purely EV with no tailpipe emissions whatsoever. We've got the hybrid mode where our petrol engine will be actually connected to a generator that's going to generate the electricity for us, but it's still the electric motor that powers the road wheels, so we're getting that really good strong torque. In fact, 253 Newton meters of torque we get from the electric motor. And you've got engine drive. So with ours you have three different modes that the car can actually choose from to put you in the most efficient for that point in time, based on of course the load and your throttle position. So in engine drive, this is going to be for situations where you're probably going above 45 miles an hour, you're probably cruising on light throttle. When you're accelerating hard, you're going to be in hybrid mode, because our electric motor has 131 PS or horsepower, and our petrol engine, predominantly there to create electricity, has 107. So we use a nicely powered petrol engine to actually generate electricity to power an even more powerful electric motor. And of course, as we said, 253 Newton meters of torque. At the moment though, actually we're driving in EV. So we're full EV, the petrol engine is not doing anything for us, and we're going to get a really good return on our fuel economy. So we've been driving a little while now in D mode, which I think is where many of you will drive most of the time. So in this mode, when you come off the accelerator, you will carry on rolling because there's no actual resistance, there's no engine braking to slow you down. However, if you prefer the feel of engine braking, like maybe in the previous car that you've owned, we can synthetically create that for you. And all you need to do as a driver is put the drive selector into B mode. So now we've done that, what we'll notice while we're driving and accelerating is nothing. It's exactly the same. However, when we come off the accelerator, we actually feel the car slowing down. Now, it's not technically engine braking because our engine is not connected to our road wheels. What we're doing is using the hybrid motors to actually slow us down. And this way, rather than traditionally engine braking would be wasted energy, this way we harness the energy, store it into the batteries at the back and can reuse it whenever we want to. Also in B mode, you can tailor it to how much regeneration you want to create and of course how quickly it will slow you down. With the paddles on the back of the steering wheel, we can have from 4, 3, 2 or 1 little arrows, one being the least amount of energy harnessing, and it will allow you to roll that a little bit further. But you can do that as you're actually driving along. But of course, remember, when you're in B mode, the only difference you'll feel is when you're actually off the accelerator. Now, driving along, been in the car a little while now, enough to know it feels a really great place to be. We've got anti-fatigue seats in the front, which are going to keep me nice and comfortable for any long journeys, and they're instantly comfortable as well. And not only that, wherever I look, whether it's front, checking my mirrors, or behind, we've got incredible all-round visibility. All three grades of new Honda HR-V benefit from our Honda Sensing package. This is a suite of safety features to help you stay safer on the road and equally more alert when driving. Now, there are a lot of features involved in these packages, so if you'd like to know more about any of the features that we're not going to mention, please contact your local dealer. They'll be delighted to tell you more about them. But just a couple. So we have adaptive cruise control on this vehicle. So this is taking your regular cruise control to the next level. So traditionally you might have to, when you've set your cruise control to say 60 miles an hour, car in front does 55, you've got to reduce it or cancel it. Now with adaptive cruise control, it's using the camera at the top to look for vehicles ahead of us, and if the vehicle in front is going slower than our desired speed, we slow down as well. And we can actually set the gap between us and the vehicle in front based on time. So you can do that with the controls on your steering wheel. We also have information coming from the camera for the painted lines on the road, which of course we don't have on this road here, but on dual carriageways, motorways, you could get things like lane keeping assist system working, where it'll try and keep you centered in the lane, so you're putting less inputs in through the steering wheel, and it'll give you warnings if you change lane without indicating. We also have road departure mitigation, so by its very title, it will try and mitigate you departing from the road. And if you find that you'd like it more or less sensitive, you can set that up in vehicle settings to get the very most out of the system for you. You can actually change how the car is going to react to your driver inputs by the different modes that we've got. So we've got normal, we've got sport, and we've got econ. And you change those simply by pushing the little selector there with drive mode. So in sport, the throttle response will be sharper, give you quicker acceleration. And if we go back through normal and into econ, that will soften the throttle response, and it will make our air conditioning more fuel efficient. But you will, maybe rather than 21 degrees in the cabin, it may be 21.5 or maybe 22. So you can trade off between temperature efficiency or efficiency from a consumption of power point of view. I quite like it in the normal mode, which I think is probably where most people will leave that. While we're looking at the dials, you can actually see at the moment we're in the power flow, and we've gone from EV mode to hybrid, and if we get a little bit faster we can see it go into engine mode, so we get the little cog on there. If we wanted to change and we go to the power charge mode, you get this nice big clear dial, and when we start braking lightly you'll see it goes into the charge, into the green, because we're putting energy into the battery at the back, and as we accelerate you'll see the needle goes more into the blue because we're actually consuming some energy and accelerating. There are a number of different screens you can go through there, and I'm sure you'll find the one that's perfect for you. So we're coming to the end of our drive now, so I think it's a good opportunity to actually try out that rear view camera. So we'll just pull along here, we'll select reverse, and the screen on our infotainment system will go into the rear view camera. And because I've got it set up to have the guidance lines that are also dynamic, as we turn the wheel we can actually see where we're going to be ending up in between these two Hondas. Beautiful. So nicely parked, we have our rear view camera, we're in between two great Hondas, and we've had a lovely drive. So hope you've enjoyed that as well, and just a few final words. Well, thank you very much indeed for joining me on this test drive of the brand new Honda HR-V eHEV. This is an incredibly important vehicle for us because our goal is to have our mainstream vehicles electrified by 2022, and this is taking us that step closer. So we hope you found this video both informative and interesting, and maybe it's raised a few questions, or maybe you'd actually like to book your own test drive. In either of those cases, please feel free to contact your local dealer. They'll be delighted to answer any questions you have, or indeed book you in for your very own test drive. So thank you very much for watching, and take care.